Meeting minutes, there were some revisions. I don't know if the board found any other, mostly typo. Yeah. Cool. And forward those back to Jamie also. So if nothing else, I'll do a motion to approve them as corrected. Second by Carl, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. You got that copy that I sent you, Jamie?
Yes.
First on our agenda, Hootnick subdivision, Sally Hootnick and attorney Diane Finnegan, Brickyard Falls Road. Parcel number 004.-01-03.1. There's some more information we were looking for from last meeting, and this will be a continuation of a public hearing. This first, we did receive, based on last month's comments with the road and so on, World Road filled out. We received, and John has received engineering plans on that. And Don has responded that they seem all in order.
I remember some county comments at last meeting. Those are good.
We have them. There's a couple things that essentially they get no position on it. A couple documents that we're double checking on. Did you fill out an ag data statement for this agricultural data?
Yes, did.
I thought we had talked about that some time ago.
We talked about it.
Done that. I think that it's in the application. Maybe just move it forward.
Have it to you, Sue, if it's not there, if they need it. It's,
Yeah,
I believe it was put in the original application, but the original application was so long ago and far away.
let's see if it's through. You got Kevin's. Thing. Yep. What we got. I am not. Not finding it. The app. And the other comment from the county, Onondaga County Health Department's Bureau of Public Health Engineering must formally accept or approve respectively any existing or proposed septic system that will service the property prior to the department endorsement of the subdivision. Pretty standard. So we would need the ag data statement. And the other one, Jamie, you want to speak on the third?
Yeah, about setting the notice to the adjoining municipality. That does not appear to have been done, but I also don't believe that it's fatal. Like, it's not like when you have to send it to the county. Right.
Yeah, they're just asking if they were notified. Of course, they referred to the wrong township also in there.
Right.
John, did you want to speak anything else on that before we open up?
Okay, want to see the plan or do you have a?
I mean,
You want to see the plan that was in
oh, I got this house.
it? You want a big one I printed out? Yeah, we got these on Friday. They appear to address the thing that we talked about last time. It's a rural road section now with ditches. They created a low point in the road sort of the intersection for the trees. And a culvert, an 18-inch culvert under the entrance road to carry the swale that's already there in Brickhead Falls. So it meets our standards for a rural road section, and I don't see any issues with it.
Can I ask a question?
We're not in the public hearing yet, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Again, when we open it,
No
then
problem.
we'll go through. The first time. I guess I had a question or thinking through as far as like driveways. Is there a recommendation on where they should be considering Sally's driveway on this design?
Further from the intersection. From the new intersection.
If it's okay actually on the Hammerhead?
Yes. It'd have to be adjusted if the Hammerhead River abandoned. That reminds me, probably needs to be a highway agreement executed with the town board for the dedication of this once it's completed. So that should be a condition. Is that will follow up with a appropriate agreement.
Questions, gentlemen?
Well, the highway agreement would cover the letters of credit for the bonding necessary to finish the road if it
Correct.
doesn't.
Yes, and the guarantees and all that.
And if we have to go permanent with the hammerhead after, did we put a timeline on the hammerhead? Like
Yeah.
temporary? Should we?
I don't see it. I mean, it's gonna be built to.
Oh, it is. Okay, so it's not temporary. So it's there's no gravel. It's all paved.
It's temporarily permanent, or permanently temporary, whichever.
Well, we have a lot of different kinds.
For the second.
If it's paved, then I'm fine.
Yeah,
It's not-
okay, yes, it's a.
So it's a legitimate,
Yes, and if it never gets built, then we have a standard.
Comments on it? Okay, Steve, I guess I'm going to make a motion to open the continuation of our public meeting for the Hootnick property. Seconded by John. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. This is your chance. I do ask people that want to speak that they identify themselves and their address, and Jamie's taken the minutes and she may ask you for a spelling or she didn't get the address or whatever, but you are to address the board with your comments and questions. So you can go first, sir.
Sure. I'm from 3183 Windy Hill Lane. I own the long driveway on Windy Hill Lane, obviously. I was just waiting for an introduction. I don't know who's who and what's represented here. So that's all I was
Yeah.
gonna question, like,
Yeah,
this is
okay.
a different project. This is not the Windy Hill project.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is,
I hear you guys going through a bunch of,
this is Brickyard
On our-
Falls.
oh, I didn't hear that.
On our agenda, it's first said this is the Hootnick
Oh, I
subdivision.
understand in the beginning.
Yeah, we'll get to the Lockheed Martin.
Lockheed,
thing.
That's the next one.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't quite hear you.
So. Does anybody else have any comments on the Hootnick subdivision?
No.
We got on.
I'm looking way back. She's going, nope.
Take a motion,
Do we have anybody online?
Nope.
take a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second. Motion by Kevin, second by John, to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, public hearing is now closed on the Hootnick subdivision. Said the county had a no position on it. Any motion that we do, would be contingent also on completing paperwork on the ag data statement. And what John was referring to on the
Highway agreement.
highway agreement. And the county was having a hard time following through because we sold some, and all that, everything has been filed, it just didn't catch up with the county plan for. Subdivision map. Subdivision map that we have, John, when it refers. When there, is that anything?
That's incorrect now. It needs to be corrected on the plat to show this. Maybe what you do is reference this plan. Junction with the subdivision plan.
He was, Hannah has new maps for you. They're not. With the new, he was supposed to have them here today. Anybody?
Yeah, they're not up here.
Okay.
So. Is that another, can we approve it with those conditions?
Let's review what the conditions are. So what exactly?
So. We have a subdivision map, but it's referring to the street, but it was residential street instead of rural street. We have a separate map.
I think we can do a conditional approval on that, subject to administrative review or review of
Have me
the
look at it
the engineer.
before you Sign it.
Right.
So is that the ag data statement and then the,
I'm sorry, did it change anything else or just the detail
Just the
of the
detail.
road? Okay,
Right away, what's depicted on the subdivision plan.
it's in the right place. though.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
then the town for the road signing that document. That John spoke to.
The highway agreement.
Okay,
It's been approved, it just hasn't been signed, the highway agreement.
So it needs to be prepared and approved and executed by the town board.
And is there any reason that may not happen? Or we make it a contingency anyway?
Yeah,
Contingency. Okay.
Statement in the county review letter, that's standard protocol. It doesn't have to be.
What doesn't it?
Comment.
Are you writing down all the contingencies?
You can file this with the map until. it's-
Yep.
Standard.
Yep.
So it doesn't have to be a special condition.
Right, because the county will take care of it, you can't file it.
Right.
Mhm.
And they really all have to do with two with the map and one with the highway?
One's the ag data statement.
Ag data statement, yeah. The highway statement, the ag data and the correction and the completed maps. Yeah. It's simple.
I would reference this map I just handed you as part of this.
This.
Anything material happened, we had to come back and we. Something,
We shouldn't have to come back, it's just if they don't meet the contingencies, that this doesn't happen.
Right.
well, it would have to come back before us.
They would have to reapply at that point.
And to make sure I'm looking at the right map, the last revision dates May 12th.
We went through the seeker, correct? I'm like Diane, I can't remember. It's been
Yeah.
So long. Okay,
Yeah, we did.
we did the negative seeker, okay.
Yeah.
last revision date of the old map was May 12th,
Yeah, on the right.
correct?
Yeah.
And then Steve Calcerinos, the engineer, sent new plans for the road.
Yes, yeah.
It's got the
Refer to
road
that
plans.
one. Yeah. Okay. That's everything.
I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. So we do have the road?
We have the contract, but we don't have the right plan. Survey.
On the subdivision.
Subdivision maps, they're.
It had the old roadway plan from last meeting,
Right,
the new roadway plan. The new map, the new roadway plan should be here, not today.
so if they don't fulfill the contingency that we've put in there,
Then Sue doesn't sign the map.
Sue doesn't sign the map, and then if something changes, they have to start all over again and come before us. Yeah.
I mean, we can put a time frame on it.
Any idea how long it's gonna take?
Build the road,
No,
Just to
the map.
get
She
the
said they were
maps
supposed
done,
get the new map,
New map,
Yeah.
ag data statement,
ag statement and the highway agreement.
highway agreement might be a while.
That's true.
Yeah, that doesn't,
The. Hold up the file.
I could sign off on our part on the
correct,
first two,
correct.
but at what point is she gonna be able to file with the county? That they would have to do the highway agreement before she.
That can be tied to a building permit.
Yeah, I think,
Perhaps.
I don't think it's necessary. It's a thing that has to happen, but there's a subdivision, the highway agreement is way down the line. So I just think it's maybe a note.
And that's a town board function.
Correct,
So that's not a condition of our
Correct.
approval,
Right,
correct.
but it should be in.
Noted that it has to be done.
right. So the conditions of our approval are the ag statement and the map.
Correct.
no later than next Friday. I mean, I'm traveling this week, but if you want to put a date on it,
By the next meeting, so Sue can sign. the next meeting.
Yeah, the next meeting would make more sense.
okay.
August, whatever.
And for some reason, we can always extend it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Be a good goal.
You say the maps are done, we just don't have them.
As far as we know.
Friday, both Steve and Robert Verselva told me Friday that they were both done. And apparently half of it's true.
Half those delivered, okay, all right. I guess based on all that discussion, I would make a motion to approve. The Hootnick subdivision. Based. Yeah, lots. Lots 1A, the Hootnick subdivision into lots 1A and 1B and 2B. The Hootnick subdivision. Based on a map 5/12/2022 by E.W. Hannig. And proposed Hootnick Way map dated 7/14/2022. Designed by Kelly Serenos. And let that one show that is road engineering specs. With contingencies of us receiving prior to our August 15th meeting, completed ag data. Worksheet that we have for the subdivision. And the updated subdivision map that would show the correct road,
Which will replace this map,
which would yes,
replace the map dated
5/12.
5/12. That work, Jamie?
It does. Hold on. Is that Sue making the motion?
That was,
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Kevin has seconded.
So discussion.
Further discussion.
So this isn't actually going to be subdivided until after the road is built, though.
It's going to be filed. It'll be subdivided.
Without a road.
It will.
So does the road?
No building
I
would
don't-
occur.
The road is shown. It's going to be there. It will be subdivided when the map is filed. It will be a final subdivision when the map is filed. But, your concern is you don't want to sell it off unless the road is, I mean.
We don't want to
sell
subdivide
it.
unless we know the road is either built or going to be built. And
Well, they'd be in
then-
violation if they didn't do the road, did something else. And that would be the code enforcement
They're not going to be able to get a building permit.
without the
You
road
could-
being built.
Exactly.
She could subdivide it, but she can't build.
You can't
until-
build or do anything, and that would be, at that point, code enforcement would say, no. you're
Yeah,
not.
and it might be worthwhile to put in a condition, to that effect of the understanding, so it's part of the public record.
As,
That no,
So that would be an amendment.
no, just,
Yes. We already,
we haven't voted on it.
we need a second though.
Right, still haven't voted on it.
No, but you can
So it
amend
hasn't
it.
been- hasn't
You
been approved.
amend it and
Yeah,
then you
you can
vote
amend it,
on
that's
the
fine.
amended
That's fine. But it
motion.
hasn't been approved, so yeah,
Correct.
amend it.
So
but let me make a suggestion, because Danny brings up a good point. We could have a note added to the map that these lots, are not separate building lots unless and until the road is built. It would be a note right on the plan. So if someone were to sell off this lot and expect to build on it, there's a contingency.
I like the idea of putting it on the, yeah, I've had those on my own maps. And it helps.
Note added to the map that there'll be no building on the 21-acre parcel unless a road is, per the plan, is built.
Or no permits are issued. No permits will be issued until the road is built.
Well, remember, we're not the permit issuers, so we need to make sure that the language is appropriate, but that these are not, these are not a building lot, not a buildable lot.
21.5 acre 2B. Lot
Are they
2B
both?
is,
Right, both lots, right.
both lots, not just the 21 acres.
So you're really, without the road, by subdividing it, you're diminishing your flexibility on what to do with property. Once you subdivide it, you can't do anything with it until that road's.
Till the road's built.
I understand. And so does Sally.
So is it a contingency or just a note?
It's a condition of the subdivision, so it's going to be a note on the plan.
But it's not a condition of our approval?
It is,
Okay, but it's just a note on the plan, okay?
right,
Which is part of.
but it would be hard to enforce, if no one would know it,
Right,
So I think the note would be, these are not buildable separate lots.
until such time.
Non-conforming until the road's built.
Because the road is built in conformance.
With the,
Mhm.
in conformance with the plan.
Yep,
We need to. I need to change my motion.
I think, yeah. If that's what you want to do. Mhm.
So that way I would amend,
There would be a third condition.
so amend my motion to add a third condition that on the
Subdivision.
subdivision plan, that there will be a statement that these are not buildable lots until the road is built according to the plan
Accepted.
and accepted.
By the town.
Mhm.
Essentially dedicated to the town.
Okay, so that was my motion to amend my first, so I do a second to my amendment.
Second,
Any further discussion to the amendment to add that addition? Question on mine, Sue, do you want me to read it? Let me vote on the amendment first. Okay, all in favor of amending the motion?
I,
Opposed?
now. You just voted on amending the motion or the amended motion?
The amendment.
Because we didn't vote on the first.
No, we still have to go through another vote.
Okay,
Oh.
that's just for
That was
the,
just amending
Right.
to add that third statement.
okay, we could have just,
Well,
either way,
Robert's-
okay.
Okay. Does that question then affect the vote or can we answer it afterwards?
The question is from Cassia Baranello. As a private homeowner of that land, could there not be a farm road to the barn?
Oh, that's what we've been talking about. I mean, that's what this has all been about.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the answer is no.
No, can't be.
Okay, so now the amended motion with the three contingencies. Is there any further discussion on that? Okay, ag data statement, the updated map with the buildable lot statement, and that would take care of the highway agreement. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Welcome, that's a long time.
Long time.
About this.
Appreciate
Get
your.
after it.
Sometimes that's what you have to do. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will move on to the Lockheed Martin radar dome project.
Mark Chambers with CS Engineers. Since the last meeting, the board tasked us with adding a general plan to the specification or contract drawings, which basically shows more of the surrounding properties and included the tax ID numbers and things of that nature on that plan. One of the other items too was to detail what the size, height of the existing dome that was put in 6-8 years ago. That's been detailed on our drawings as well too, plus also to a profile, a plan view of the proposed dome as well too. And then one of the other items was too as well was the SHPO disturbance and concerns with that. So we ended up keeping all of the disturbance of that area of the project area on the existing pavement itself. So the only area that's going to be disturbed as part of the project would be just that pavement area that's been previously disturbed. Everything stays within that footprint.
Do you have those maps, drawings? Because I didn't get anything,
We got any of those?
not a one.
Okay, well, I emailed those last week, or last year or last week, but before that,
And who did they get emailed to?
Nikki.
Never got anything.
Is Nikki on vacation? Do you have anything you can email that we can put up on the screen?
Right now. Let's see. Get stretch. Yeah, we'll back up.
He emails them to me, I can. Yeah, that would be best.
The good news, we got comments from county planning. take it back. What I got was the copies of your certified receipts and letters that was sent out. That's all I got.
Yeah. Trying to do this, get a tough push to try to get the findings in here.
Remember when they went out?
Yeah.
Friday, we'll close on Friday.
It was, it was the 11th.
Yeah.
Well, he's trying to hit send and find or whatever.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. I'm just going through that and it's. Plans not time.
Otherwise, it was advertised for public hearing,
It's tough to have a public hearing
no info.
plans, right?
But
People are here,
so
so
we open it and just continue it because it's advertised instead of having to advertise it again.
we can see what's on people's minds and then it can be addressed and finalized at the next meeting.
Which I'm gonna apologize for not doing this sooner, but in answering your question, I'm Sue Smith, the chairman.
Basically, that was gonna be my question. I wasn't sure who this
Planning
gentleman
board.
was over here, if he has the maps.
He's town engineer John Dunkel, our planning board attorney Jamie Sutphin. I'm Sue Smith, the chairman. To my far right is John Shaheen, and next to him is Kevin Corson. Next to him, Dan Bargibus. To my left, Carl Felt. It's not Smith. And Roy Smith. We are missing Deb Cook this evening from our board. So.
Yeah, I was concerned with the way it was gonna be mapped out.
well,
Basically, what he was asking.
Hold it. In following through, we normally have the applicant talk to us first, and then in the public hearing that we have a motion and open, and that's when the public can speak to the board. That is the proper time and avenue
Oh,
to ask. So with that, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for the Lockheed Martin Radar Dome project.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Kevin, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now you can state your name and address again and then speak away.
well, basically, my name's Ray Snyder, 3183 on Windy Hill Lane. And basically, this gentleman,
Can you say your name again?
Ray Bestenheider,
Okay.
Spell it.
BESTENHEIDER.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, because I was wondering where they were gonna, how it was gonna be laid out. You know, like you put it on a tax map, where to build it, there's gonna be another structure, meaning the dome, if there's gonna be any associated buildings with that. And how close to my property is it gonna?
You can tell you the small.
That's where the town board at last meeting wanted to see a map of, say, of a larger scale area. We developed that. This is the smaller scale of that area. This is where that existing dome is currently right now.
Uh-huh.
We're putting it just to the north. There's a parking lot strip, pavement strip that heads to the north in there. We're putting that right there.
There had been a dome there in the past, correct?
There was one in the past there, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. But this is my property right here.
Quite a while.
Right in this jog right here.
Yeah.
There's the electrical vault right back in here. Right. That's not shown on this plan. Getting rid of this area here.
Actually, it comes down a little further. There's actually a trail that comes right on down there.
There's the property line goes like this. There's an electrical vault like right here. Take concrete structure. Right there, the electrical select line comes right through here.
I've never seen that. I have to look at it. I just posted to my property. I followed it on the tax map. Walk the whole property.
I just had somebody, well, here, just email me. The drawings, who can I send them to here?
Renee, can I send them to you?
Send it to supervisor@towncoffee.org.
In the meantime, anybody else have any questions, comments?
I have several. I think I'm directly, oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Ann Fowler, FOWLER.
That I can do.
And I'm at 3209 or in Delphi. And I believe I'm directly underneath this thing. I got this letter and went, oh, that's interesting. I guess, like I said, I have several. Why is second one, environmental impact drainage, which affects me very directly. Because my drainage sucks. And who oversees this facility? So.
Oversees the facility and what?
I didn't.
Like the code enforcement officer would oversee any violations of our town code.
Okay,
Lockheed is there in an overlay district, correct? Yeah, an overlay district. And
what's an overlay district, Kevin?
in other words, it formerly was an agricultural piece of land. The town allowed it to be used for the purpose that Lockheed uses it for now.
Uh-huh.
So if they stop doing that, it goes back, Jamie, to its previous.
I don't know that it would go back. It would still be the overlay.
Overlay would stay there
Stay.
unless they undid the overlay.
Correct.
Like the antenna facility up on Sevier, that's an overlay.
Okay,
It's a different use than was originally underneath there.
okay, huh. Interesting.
So, and that one's been like since like the 40s or something. Yeah, it's been since the Second World War.
Uh-huh. Now, why is a second one needed?
A second tower?
No, yeah,
No, to continue testing the radar that they test. You know, they bring the portable radars up there, put them inside that dome, and they fire the signal across to over to Casanova. They've got a receiver over there. That I don't remember the name of the road on the other side. Grassy Hill. Grassy Hill? Yeah, it's on the other side, and so that's where they
oh,
test the radar, It's just for additional radar testing.
uh-huh.
Yeah, when did they put that first dome in? That's been 10 years, 15 years?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't ever remember, I've been there 10 years and I don't remember getting a letter like this for the first one. It was that.
Probably been longer than- Yeah, it's probably been more like 20.
I've been there since 85 and it was there when I
Oh.
bought my house.
That was.
So it's been there.
Been there for 85 years? No, it's fairly new though. I'm not sure. They took one down,
100 feet, so we had.
put that one back up. Yeah, I think that was. Yeah, I wouldn't.
When
What's
did
that?
we up the certified letter from 500 feet to 1,000 feet?
No, I'm thinking about.
Went to 1,000 feet probably 5 years ago.
You may not have gotten it.
Yeah, you may not have gotten on the first, the town board used to require notification within 500 feet of subdivision or an application. And we upped it to 1,000 feet, maybe 5 years ago or so.
Okay, that's why I
It was
know,
always 500 feet.
right.
That's why you probably didn't get the letter previously.
Well, I'm surprised I didn't figure that's more than 1,000 feet away from me, but maybe as the crow flies, it's not, you know.
Well, you know where I live,
Yeah.
and I didn't get a letter.
Oh, okay.
if I'm outside 1,000 feet.
Oh, gosh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't either.
Yeah, and she didn't,
well, you're probably outside of it also. I'm
Yeah.
the first house on the road.
Right.
And I'm not within 1,000 feet.
okay, well, I guess I am.
Yeah. We're trying to get the drawings now. So the holdup is we were supposed to have drawings of what it's gonna look like, and we weren't able to get those because of an email
Hmm.
issue, and so that's what they're trying to iron out in the back of the room right now.
I don't think we're gonna get it because I think there might be a size issue.
Are they too big?
Yeah,
I think that's maybe why Nikki didn't get it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or why it didn't.
So Ann, you had the question of,
Environmental impact and,
well, we will do environmental impact statement.
okay,
Be part of the process that for the approval, so we'll go through all of that.
okay,
And we did get a letter back from the county where the county also goes through the same process. And the county letter didn't determine there was any major environmental impact.
The position is,
For the,
the referral will have no significant adverse intercommunity or countywide implications and be acted solely on by this board. They did point out, the site may contain the northern harrier or its associated habitat, which is listed as a threatened or endangered animal species per the EAF mapper.
that's a,
That's a bird, and that the site or a portion of it is located in or adjacent to an area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites. But again, they found no glaring lights that would say that there'd be a problem with it.
so the county does that, and then we go through that same process here. with
Okay.
The information that we have. We go,
okay.
Environmental impact statement. Same purpose. And what was your other, there was one other?
Well, again, when my drainage be affected, it's already very bad. And a lot of people on that side of it'll have,
Right,
drainage issues.
well,
That's all right.
Wasn't that gonna be located on an area that was already,
it's already an existing impermeable area anyway.
They're not changing any
So they're-
grading or drainage.
they're not gonna be,
They're not gonna make it any worse.
yeah.
That's what I want to hear.
So it'll stay just as bad as it is.
There you go.
So can we get? Somehow you gotta get around the email. If they're too large, get us paper copies in here.
Old fashioned.
That's, yeah.
I'll do that. I should have called,
So there's
obviously.
somebody in the back there.
Now I see your hand.
Alexandra Corson, 3169 Windy Hill Lane. Is this public hearing going to be continued?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
I do have some concerns about the traffic or the increase of traffic that might be brought about by the construction, and also if there's increased usage, an increase in employees out there. It's a very sort of treacherous road. In fact, their children live right on the curve. And it's a blind curve. And so people are going to work, leaving work, and in a hurry. I mean, often going 55 miles an hour, seriously. So that is a concern. If traffic's going to be increased, not only because of the construction, but because of the increase in employees, if there is going to be an increase in employees. I also I'm just curious about what the uses that's permitted there, because it is agricultural. Yeah. I am.
What is the permitted use? Well, that's the overlay, is
Overlay.
allowing the
Yeah.
permitted use now for what Lockheed does there, the radar testing. I think it's,
Is that what it does? I mean, I've heard that, but I mean, I really don't know
I
what.
think it's, is it part of the telecommunications?
Communications, I believe, yes.
Yeah, the same as Sevier Road. It's a telecommunications overlay. So it allows them to do the type of work they do there with the radar. And again, that overlay, I believe, was granted back around the Second World War, around the forties.
Right.
That was been there a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and to respond to the increased traffic and employees out there, there will be obviously, you know, the antenna that's gonna be put into the dome, that'll be placed in there. And something like that's gonna sit there for a while, as far as how long, I believe I can't remember off the top of my head what they were saying, like a couple of weeks, it's gonna sit in there, then they might move it out, put another one in, but that's gonna be pretty much moving equipment in and around on the site itself. And increased employment, it potentially could add to some, you know, probably 2 to 3, maybe new employees there as well too. That's about the numbers right now that I'm hearing from Lockheed Martin anyway.
Who's gonna be doing the construction?
They'll put that out to bid. It'll, you know, they have a handful of contractors that they go to, a Hangar Hoyt, that. Things like that.
Are they gonna be big trucks?
Yes, temporarily during construction, yes.
Oh. We may have,
When you're doing the CPRO, do you look into the actual activities that are going to be conducted there? Because when I hear the term telecommunications and radar, it's very generally broad. And I really don't know what that entails. And I would think that it's possible it could have an environmental impact on the residents in the area that are close by. I just don't know. It might not. I mean, it's just a very, oh, let's go to telecommunications. I have a good question.
Yeah, I don't know what the definition is in our code.
Yeah.
You have to look that up. It is in the code, that overall definition.
yes, sir.
They call it 3228 LA. One is the construction.
The last one they built, was about a 2-month long window. This one that we're putting up, that's not, it's gonna be a bit smaller. It doesn't have the little garage entrance way on the previous one.
People don't realize Windy Hill Lane is only about a quarter of a mile. That's it. And when you come up there with all those 10-wheelers, flatbeds, heavy equipment in the, number one, what it does to the road. Right? And since you've been up there, many times that they come in, oil and stone on the road. Right now, my drive, part of the road is about 6 inches higher than my tire because of that. All the heavy equipment. And I can't believe we said we weren't going to hire possibly 2 to 3 more people. Friday night, when I walked the dog, within a 12-minute period, 20 cars got.
What that was, what that was an event, sometimes they have training events up there, could be that. Do that.
And there's been a lot more traffic going on up there than what we used to. Because we do walk our dogs morning and night, so we know. To be honest with you, I coming in today around 1:15, almost hit me when I was at the mailbox. Had to move very quickly back on my lawn, because he's like this with his phone. That's just one. No, I think you're asking an awful lot for, I know there aren't too many houses up there, but for us to go through that again. What do we get out of it? Other than big hassle,
Yes, let's bring this to,
1 month to the next.
you gotta address
I'm
the story, not individually, tell us.
But really,
Well,
we get nothing out of it that I can see. All right?
so your concerns are the speed, the number of cars and the wear on the road. And this is a neighborhood and the people that are traveling through, you don't feel have the,
Because they do go fast.
I've seen them pull in there and they go house too with the trucks.
I'm gonna ask Kevin how some of the cars pull off from Route 20 on Windy Hill Lane.
Uh, Thank you, and thanks Renee, for being patient with us.
Yeah, that looks right. There's a little further this way. The trail comes down.
Another question. On the size of the dome compared to the one that you put in the last one. Same size, smaller, bigger, or what?
It's
Mike,
smaller.
you can ask us, we know that part. It is smaller.
Last one was 44 feet tall, and this one is
27.
So it's much smaller. It's not a.
And your diameter,
Yes.
diameter of it also, the one that is existence.
Yeah, that one was like 45.
Well, including what, your entrance way into it was 66 feet and 35 and a half.
Single file.
So
So diameter wise, this is gonna be bigger?
smaller,
Smaller.
smaller and shorter.
Orange, yeah, that's not as tall.
Oh, same that boxes.
Wow, that is a great back.
And you can take a look at that when he's done looking at it. And
Okay.
see where the water's kind of shooting down.
So, here. You should hear the discussion.
Yeah, we need
Yeah,
to hear
you
that
need-
discussion up here.
Sir, you need to address us so we can hear the questions and comments, not.
It's around this way.
Sorry. I was continuing the conversation we had before about the electrical box.
And that was,
The way he drew it, I was looking at the map was on my property, but
It's not.
now it's laid out here with this map. It's definitely not on.
key.
There's an existing electrical vault that powers section of that facility, and there's a electrical vault on the northern property line that abuts up, I think, up to your property.
Yeah, and of course, I never go on the other side of the property line. That's why I never saw it.
The communication tower overlay zone district, the intent of the communication tower overlay zone district is to control the location and design of the communication towers and to minimize the associated environmental and aesthetic impacts upon the rural character of the town. Recognizing the need for communication towers, this land shall be accommodated in specific locations of the town, provided that a reasonable consideration is made for aesthetic environment and environmental factors. So that is the definition of the communication tower overlay zone district.
So, presumably some years ago, there was an interpretation made that this use fell into that category.
Correct. And I believe from, and I'd have to verify it, that radar is considered a communication.
I would
Yeah.
totally think this falls into that.
So, but yes, there was probably a
Determination.
determination made.
Yeah, I think back in the files, the past one we did, that's what it was, that's what they compared it to back in 8 years ago.
Yes, yes. So there've been domes there that have been renewed.
Correct.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's been domes taken down, and now,
And to understand the dome, so I fully understand it, it is just a housing that you drive the radar in to protect it from the weather.
that's correct.
And so that's really what it is.
It's also absorber material, right? So the radiation doesn't.
But, well, yes, it acts as a barrier as well too. They're using that, say, 2 hours out of the daytime, the rest of it's used as like a garage type scenario.
Correct. Right.
Material in there and things like that.
Right, protect us from the rain and you ship it off to a war zone.
Yes, exactly. They basically, they put it in a perfect safe weather situation.
Right, right.
Test it.
Yep.
Very important problem.
I need to get my. Yeah. One of the years I won't buy it, I'll get it back.
Answer the question. You know, when
Name and address first.
Elizabeth Weston. Mindy Hill, 31 Mindy Hill. We know when we think this might start. What is that?
They-
Yeah.
They'd like to start construction here sometime in August. Later in the month of August.
You know,
And like I was saying earlier, but this one's gonna be a little bit faster because there's no ring wall on this thing. It's all at grade, so it's gonna be a 2 month safe rock.
So I think by next month, you want to be starting. But yeah, you just said, that's put the bids out there to get somebody to do it.
They're fast with it, they're private, so they can get bids quickly. They have a bank of contractors they go to for pricing. They're quick. They don't have to put up, to your point, it was a municipal project, yeah, it's gonna take all of a month. Right.
Like I said, my big concern is all the traffic. Using my driveway with 10-wheelers to turn around in like we did the last time. You know. I think Lockheed ought to be, if they're gonna end up doing this, they ought to have a guard or somebody up there patrolling the
They
road.
actually do have a guard.
No, patrolling the road.
Okay.
A guy sitting up there on the facility means nothing.
That's something we could ask them to do that, no doubt about that.
That means nothing. Just like speed limit signs need nothing too. And you're gonna have more traffic after that's up because you'll be more deliveries and everything else. Am I right or?
It's part of.
Is Windy Hill a public road?
It is.
All right, so that's a police scene. It's not, you can't do anything about it. Other than maintain your own.
Well, I guess where I was going with it was like using your driveway as a turnaround, that shouldn't be.
You're right, it shouldn't be.
If it is, that's something that we could put in when Lockheed Martin goes out to get bids to contractors, that they, stress say that point that. All turnarounds, every part of the contract requirements, everything has to be done within the facility, not on windy. You don't easily.
I have spoken to Lockheed Martin's Community Relations Department about some of the issues that Mike has brought up. And many of the people, as we say on the street, have gotten the memo. So the security guards come down at a reasonable rate, but there are those engineers that come out of town that do come flying down there. But we have discussed it, that Lockheed Martin in most of their facilities wants to have a good relationship with the neighbors. And when they had an event there, they actually put a sign up about the speed when they had an event. We wish that they would have left it there, but they have a pretty strong community relations department. So that's someone that we can continue and.
Yeah, they're very amicable about it, but that's, they have to put in the contract to do that.
Yep, and I can even give that information to Renee on who to contact for the town, because they certainly don't want to be bad neighbors. At least that's my experience. Yep.
Yeah, and given the size of your facility, I can't imagine a reason that they'd need to use somebody's private driveway to turn around.
Fire, how it happened.
Yeah. So. Anyone else?
Yeah. So I don't think there's much to it because
No, they're putting the additional ones already. There was one there.
there's no grading, there's no.
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 You're just gonna improve the surface maybe before you put the dome?
Say that again?
Improve the surface,
Yeah, right now, the asphalt that's there is it's an older asphalt. It's not bad condition,
yeah,
but we're gonna, resurface all that.
right. So it's, a little better.
And I apologize for this. I thought that these were sent. I thought on me, I didn't check, but I think we've addressed the comments from the last meeting as far as for every item that you needed, that you guys requested. So I think we're all okay.
Did you address on the seeker, the endangered species and the other archaeological sensitive matters?
That's where we ended up, keeping everything onto to the area that was already previously disturbed, is what we ended up doing. Instead, we had shown a little bit of grading off into to the left of the site. We took that out of it and kept everything on the existing pavement area that's not disturbed.
Does that satisfy it, Jenny?
Probably. I mean, we haven't seen this. I think we need to look at it. I don't feel like we can make a decision this evening. And that's up to you, but I'd like to look at it.
Renee,
I know that
are you able
John
to
would like to.
forward that to John's email?
What I just,
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he can't read what.
Yeah, read.
Sorry.
Right there, you can't read.
That's what you get when you hire an old engineer.
John, the only thing you gotta tell me is it's not forwarding it. Did it come first? Sometimes when you
Let
forward,
me get it.
which I just sent it.
So you say you're only gonna resurface. You're not gonna tear off the blacktop and put new in, you're only gonna put basically a topping on it?
No, we're gonna take the existing asphalt off and then.
Oh, so it's not resurfacing.
Correct.
Okay, so more trucks coming in and out and stuff.
This is in the facility right around the dome immediately. That's it. We're not doing any other paving anywhere else, if that's what you're getting at.
No, but you have to get rid of the blacktop, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's, all right, so more trucks.
There'll be some extra, there'll be some. Yeah.
yeah, I don't need it. No problem.
That's. Down here. That's what I thought. It wasn't. I haven't. Yes. Well, I wouldn't want to tell no, this is not up to date. I was looking at, but this.
Is the road,
Right.
Kevin, is the road, like, is being damaged by any of this here or work?
The town comes out and repairs the road every year, resurfaces it. It's a oil stone road. Any large trucks, there's logging going on, and those trucks, when they turn sharp in hot weather, it sometimes grinds up the oil because of the type of surface it is. It's that oil stone. Some of that is not preventable, but the heavy trucks, I don't see any major changes to the surface. The town inspects those roads every year and then makes, adds stone and oil as necessary.
They decide what needs maintenance
Yeah,
based on the condition of the road.
yeah. And what Mike says is true. Those roads continue to be built up. They're not milled down like an asphalt road would be milled down. And the snow plowing wears the roads down, but I don't,
So not unusual wear and tear is what you're saying.
from my perspective, no, and the trucks, the flatbeds that bring the radar trucks in, they're tractor trailers and I will say, Mike, for the most part, those guys take their time. Guys that are delivering the vehicles. They come down fairly slow. They're not flying down there, but yeah, that's heavy equipment. Those radars now, especially now that they're fully armored. I don't know what the weight is on one of those, but they're pretty heavy. Yeah, and they're on a flatbed, so they don't get that delivered.
You're right there. What's all happening, there's so darn many trucks going up and down that road. That's why they keep coming in oil and stoning. And like I said.
Right, right.
My driveway is already 6 inches higher than what it should be, or the road is over the driveway.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, the town then is gonna have to come in,
And know that,
verify that all out and get it back to normal.
yeah. And again, that really is a town issue because once you get to the bend in the road, then it's
Private.
private. And you have a right of way
Right.
across that property and you guys have paved your own road.
Right.
So it's, different when you go up there. But the town does plow up to there because they allow the plows to turn around and school buses go up there and turn around and so on and so forth. So
This gentleman can talk to the head of Lockheed to find out if they can't reimburse the town a little bit for doing our road properly then.
yeah, if you get a hold of the head of Lockheed, you're better than I am. I don't think he takes phone calls or she takes phone calls.
Because I mean.
But that's something that
The town is keep paying for that.
right.
They keep coming in and just. So we end up with basically a road that's not 100%.
Yeah, yeah, and that really, Mike, that really is something that Renee and the board, the town board would bring up to Lockheed.
I don't need to hold it up.
Yeah, correct on that, Jamie. I mean,
Say that again.
if Lockheed was damaging the road, that's really something between the town and Lockheed, where the highway superintendent, if they feel that the traffic to Lockheed was damaging the road, they would have to, that would be between, not between the engineer here. Remember, he's not Lockheed, he's the engineer.
But he knows people at Lockheed.
Yeah,
Okay, so he can spread the word.
I would hope so.
Because certainly they're not gonna show up here, so we can talk to them.
yeah,
I mean, we've been through that 8 years ago.
but that makes sense, yeah. So,
Amy, they pay taxes on that property, don't they?
I don't know the answer. I presumably.
So presumably it'll be reassessed after this improvement.
They can't,
You asked what they pay
they
in
can't
taxes?
just reassess.
If they do,
It has to be a townwide reassessment.
and I would
it has to be a townwide reassessment. You can't just reassess.
Is there a way, maybe the road condition is. You get a snapshot of what it is prior, and what it is at the end of the construction phase of the project. Could do that.
don't they have to file for a building permit to do this, John? So why would there have to be a townwide assessment in order to reassess their property for improvement?
Because there is.
I mean, I've done work, filed for a building permit, work's done, and then the assessor reassesses my property.
Oh, right, like it's a new, like if it's a new house or new construction.
Right,
something
yeah.
like that, yes.
Put addition on or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, increase the value.
It might change since this is an extra thing on there, right? Improvement.
And again, they've had one there before, so they may be saying that accelerated. It's like a semi-permanent structure.
This one,
Yeah.
this one's anchored, so I would think this would be more of a permanent.
Permanent, okay.
Yeah,
But they're modular. So you can
correct. They're anchored to a foundation system, they'll have that, but. Typically, like to your point, if there's a building permit. if The value of construction is 300,000 or whatever, is that for example, usually your assessment will go up
Yeah,
by that amount or somewhat close.
but again, that would be through enforcement and the assessment. Right.
But generally, pulling a building permit will trigger that. Somebody will take a look at it. I don't know how the process works exactly, but.
So do we have any other comments from the public on this project? We have enough?
Here's my question,
Yes.
because you're talking about closing the public hearing.
No.
That's what Sue's talking about,
That's-
and these are the maps only in miniature.
Yep.
So, but they are the maps. So,
And what we had from.
and what we had requested is on there, right, and they're on there. So I don't see a reason why we would need to continue it. And we shared it with the public. I shared, mine. I was very generous. John loaned me his. So,
guy.
you know, how we are here this time. So I agree with you. And Jamie, you see no issue with that, correct?
And we could close.
We could close the public hearing if that is the desire, yes.
Because we now have the maps. We've looked at the
Yes,
maps.
and they've been shared, they can share.
Any online questions?
Do we,
Go ahead.
do we get a copy of the maps and stuff?
You can have mine.
Oh, okay, I'm just, you know,
There you go. You do have the right to have, to view anything we have up here. You have that right. So I'm just gonna give you that copy and John will maybe make me another copy. So there you go. You got it.
I'm ready to give you mine.
Really? Yeah. Think about it. First time I've seen you be that generous.
Okay. Inspired tonight.
So you're gonna.
Thanks forward.
Public hearing? Our second set, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Public hearing is now closed for the Lockheed Martin radar dome project.
And you have their seeker application? And they gave it to you, right?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm gonna ask for,
And just for you guys to understand, if you don't, the way it works is we do the public hearing. And when we close the public hearing, then we do the environmental assessment. We go through the form that was submitted to us from Lockheed. Lockheed puts the form together, whether it's a long or a short form. And then we go through it. We're the lead agency in this case because there's no other agencies involved. And we go through step by step, reading what they've submitted to us and determine whether or not there is a major environmental impact or not a significant environmental impact. Okay, so just to be clear, you don't ever say there's zero. It's either significant or non-significant. That's the measuring tape. So, yeah. So you guys understand. Yes, you may ask.
you, let us know when it's non-significant, what,
We're gonna
we'll
do it right.
we'll
if
go
you're-
through, we'll go
Yeah,
through
if you're
and discuss
sitting
some.
here, we'll talk
oh,
openly about it. But the public hearing technically is closed. So everything comes back to us now. I mean, it's okay. We're not mean up here. We'll let you ask the questions. So you understand the process, but technically now it's in our hands to go through it and you can witness that. And but not really disagree or agree, if that makes sense. Okay.
What do you bring the EPA in on this?
You have a part two up there.
No,
Who does the environment?
You have to read the question down.
Yeah, she does.
the burden of the environmental assessment is on the applicant.
They're filled out.
The applicant puts it together. And then we go through it here. We have an environmental board. What's the board called again? It's the environmental.
ECC.
The Environmental Conservation Commission is a town board that's appointed by the town, and they go through it also. And there on that board are some professionals that, understand that area. And what's that?
Yeah, I hope.
Don't we all? Yeah. And then we go through it as a board and we have some professionals up here that we look at it and ask those questions to ensure that the applicant has put it together correctly. But the state has created a form to make it easy to go through that process. They have a certain number of questions they ask, and you'll hear those questions as Sue reads them. And then we vote as a board, whether it's a large impact or make a small impact.
Yeah, basically, there's two choices in the answers, and the first one is a no or small impact. or a moderate to large impact. I have asked John, he went over the plans and there was nothing that jumped out at him as red flags.
I will make a statement on the plans, though, that they are dated. The owners of the property. They're not correct. LaFrentzes are still named on here, and so there are some,
Not even on there.
yeah, so there are some property owners that are. Where would you be on this, Ann?
Well, Steve DeFeo is my neighbor, and I'm now wondering if the guy I bought the house from bought land from DeFeo. But he is literally my neighbor.
Yeah, because both of those. spots-
Yes, they're both showing as DeFeo,
Yeah.
so that's, I'm like, that's all the friends of them. Oh, this is dated.
So that map is definitely,
Oh, it's dated, yeah.
yeah, Nancy Krolich is correct. Evans is incorrect, Krolich's on that.
Right.
Who's Dylan Young? Like, that's that property. Dudley's is now correct. Dustin Hyder's is correct, but the Friends is, they, bailed out on us a while ago. I mean, they left, they moved to Florida.
No, I've been at my property for almost 11 years,
Yeah,
and the people before me, I'm thinking he must have bought land for.
so does that need to be corrected, or is that just a fair action? That's.
That's from the.
You're not approving.
From the town?
Yeah, it would,
Okay,
It takes a while to catch up.
yeah, it just hasn't
Okay.
caught up yet.
All right, bringing her back around. All right, part of their application, they completed the part one for the short environmental assessment form. We, looked it over and John looked it over. We didn't. It was filled out appropriately.
So it accurately depicts the physical characteristics of the project.
So with that. Part two of the short environmental assessment form, or what we also refer to as seeker, is a series of 11 questions. And in the presentation that we've gotten from applicant last month and this month, and information on these forms submitted and questions asked. We'll ask the question and then we'll have a discussion, brief discussion within our board members, and then consensus from that will be one of those two answers that we discussed before. So question one, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? It's already in a zone overlay for communications. So in my opinion, no or small impact may occur.
Great, agreed.
Number two, will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of the land? Again, it's going on a part of that parcel that's already had asphalt on it, and they're updating the asphalt, that they're not clearing anything else. I say no or small impact.
Right, and it previously had a dome on that location.
Correct. Number three, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? Traffic was discussed, but as far as the actual site where it is, it's going to impair the character and quality.
Great. It's another dome, that's a dome there already.
So no or small impact. Number four, will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area or CEA?
not in a
It's
CEA.
not in one, so that is a no or small impact. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkways? We've talked about the traffic and basically the need to keep the speed down and aware of those around. Again, based on in and out, that it's probably gonna be more of a small impact versus like an interstate highway going through.
Right, it will be an impact, but a small impact.
Yes,
Mark, do you know how many employees are there now?
I don't know. Back up, the last time I was out there, there were 8 people that were out there.
That's on a regular basis?
It's on a regular basis, yeah.
Hmm.
Generally, and sometimes they float back to Salina as well,
Yeah.
too. They kind of go back and forth
Yeah.
for a while. And then sometimes they have events out there, if they have a buyer coming in from somewhere else, they may have, maybe that's what happened the other day when people were coming in and out of there. Sometimes they have more people there, but typically it's like eight people.
6, will a proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? They updated the 3.
Yeah, they
phase in
updated the
there.
3-phase, came up the hill.
Yeah, so I
Right.
say no or small impact.
Agreed.
Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies? And will it impact existing public or private wastewater treatment facilities? I say no or small impact on both of those.
Correct.
Will a proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? Again, they're going on to a pad that's been in existence that I feel no or small impact.
Agreed.
Will the proposed action result in adverse change to natural resources such as wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora and fauna? No or small impact as it's again going on existing pad that's been there.
Right, and the only thing that the county mentioned was the northern harrier potentially is in that habitat,
Correct. But again, no or small.
no or small, yeah.
Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or draining problems? Say no or small impact. Again, it's already been on a asphalt covered area. No or small impact. And the last question, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? Radar, but it's in zone, what it's zoned for, and inside of the. So a no or small impact.
Nothing. Want to say something? Nothing in this from that?
Based on the answers to all 11 questions of no or small impact, I made the motion to declare a negative declaration on the seeker determination.
I'll second that.
I'll second the motion. I'll answer your question. They fire the signal to the receiving unit on the other hill.
Yep.
Whatever that's called,
Target.
the target. They send it to a specific target.
There is radiation, is that right?
It's radar.
Yeah.
It's not ionizing radiation, but it's directed to a target specifically across towards Casanova on the other hill. So it doesn't,
So it doesn't reach us. It
Doesn't-
doesn't go back, is that?
yeah,
is that-
we're in the right spot. As long as they don't move Casanova on Grassy Hill Lane, okay.
But did I hear that there was the dome is supposed to contain the radiation?
It's, well,
Yes.
yes, yeah, it's like the Doppler radar that we check the weather with up on Sevier Hill. That's got that little dome around it also. So it protects us down low where we are.
And we don't know if there's any that escapes. We don't know the conditions surrounding the dome.
Yeah, and first of all, the public hearing is ended, but the technical questions on radar itself, that would be outside of our purview here.
Except that that question that was just asked on the seeker, it just was asking if there were any impacts on health.
Correct. And we don't.
Yeah, I mean,
know
if we found out that there was radiation emitting all over, that would be an issue.
That would be an issue, right?
We have no.
Where'd you find that out?
What's that? Sorry.
You know what the power output is?
I don't exactly know what the power output is on that. No, I don't.
You know what frequency is that?
Don't know that either.
Yeah. It's classified.
It's
It's a
quite
vote.
possible. I'll make the motion to approve the, So a motion to put behind the time, well, all these questions after the public hearing, still, focus. But before I make this, I do want to make a statement though, about the question that's been asked, because we went through this during the cell tower. That we don't have sufficient information to make those determinations relative to the impact on health to the community, having this facility at the end of the road. We don't have that information. But if somebody did come up with that information and find out that there was a health impact, then, you know, the town may be able to do something different, but Lockheed has employees up there and I'm sure the employees are asking those same questions and, you know, yes, Renee?
I would just add to this, just because of discussion, that my conversations with Tim, James' partner, about telecommunications, is that the FCC sets the health standards and safety standards, that they wouldn't be allowed to operate without meeting those standards. And those are federal. And Carl, you might know better than I do about this too. That's why I brought it up, because it seems like we don't have a lot of say about the health and safety. Those are sort of set by the federal government. And
Correct.
whether you believe they're safe or not, they're set. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, we went through that discussion with the cell towers where the FCC makes those determinations.
And yes, that was a good point. And I was going to say that this determination was already made when this was put in originally.
Yes,
So
They're putting it those twice as much.
what's that?
this is much.
There's also 2 or 3 domes back, too, as well.
Yeah, they had multiple dumps of the last time. So. This map is not, that's
March
not.
22.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Okay, we can do. Yeah, they're all March 22, but I don't see any revisions. March 22.
We just don't put revisions on until they approve, and anything after that would be a revision.
Because you made some changes, right?
Did added some sheets, spoke to, yes.
Yeah, but there's no revision dates, so. But that's the date in the map, so the motion can be relative to that map.
Well, we can, there's a date and there's the brine CO2. We can call them out.
The March of 2022.
Yeah, the March 20. And the project, but there is no, what identifies it,
Is the final.
what identifies the location? Do I need an address? Because the project number would be
Cassidy.
Lockheed's project or CNS's project.
Lockheed Martin is the applicant.
Right, we can, talk
Project is
that number.
their radar dome on Windy Hill.
Yeah, you have it Windy Hill Road. It's actually Windy Hill Lane. So that would have to be a correction on the map.
Put an address right on that one too, if you want to.
Yeah, and then it's more specific.
3254.
That's the address down there.
That's what they
3254.
put on there.
Is there an address on there?
For Lockheed, there is.
3254, you say is.
There's an address, yes.
Property location.
Yeah, so you should put it on your
Well,
application.
ask them to go back and a condition would be they need to date the plans. What else?
Date the plans correctly. So CNS, so we're talking about a motion here, but it's gonna have some caveats.
Sure.
You know, Windy Hill Lane, correct address. Yep. Dated dates on the map when the map was revised. So.
Anything else? Correct address to be shown and
I'm gonna make the motion. Okay, so I make a motion that we,
Oh, yeah. Mark.
can I go? Yes, don't talk when I'm talking. Well, interrupting you. Okay.
That was the case.
That's true. I make a motion that we approve the Cazenovia Radar Dome. Lockheed Martin located on Windy Hill Lane. And before I finish this, I understand there's no the site plan, but it says Cazenovia, New York. But that is not Cazenovia, that's Manly's hobby,
I
actually.
asked him before, I said, there's Poppy on here, which I wrote on here, kind of Poppy, the mailing address is Manly.
That's right. It is the.
We're not Cazenovia.
Right, the
It's the
location is.
receiving side, that's.
Right, so they'll have to change it to Pompey, New York, because that is the actual location. So I make a motion, we approve the site plan for the Cazenovia Radar Dome at the Lockheed Martin site on Windy Hill Lane in Pompey, New York, based on maps dated March of 2022, drawn by
And
CNS.
just by CNS? No, because there's actually a person's name on here.
Oh, you want, you just do CNS.
All right, well, it says drawn by, designed by, checked by, all right, so drawn by CNS companies. With the understanding that the maps will reflect the date that the maps were updated, that the location is Pompey, New York, and the name of the road is Windy Hill Lane, and the street address on Windy Hill Lane is 3254. I think that those are the only caveats.
Take out the preliminary,
What's that?
take out the preliminary.
Oh, yeah, and take the word preliminary off the map.
Okay.
Make it a final map.
You probably call out the sheets that constitute the site plan. They're submitted.
the C dash number.
So C-02, C-100, C-101, C-102, C-501. That.
Change of parking. Updated correctly, locations, Pompey, street address, 3254 Windy Hill Lane.
You have that all, the address correction. The addresses, the plan numbers. It's not preliminary, it's gonna be a final, it's preliminaries on the.
Your person authorized to sign the plan when these are made, right? When the changes are made.
See that?
The chairperson's authorized to sign the plan when the changes are made.
Correct.
That's the full motion. Second. Carl seconds. Any further discussion from the board? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
You pulled it out when you snagged this, you really pulled it out, didn't you, at the last minute, yeah. Yeah,
Was there gonna be any minutes mailed out or no?
but you can access.
Actually, not on the website.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other business for this board.
But before Renee goes, I have to question, but it's really not for this board, it's next door. I guess that's after we close.
Make a motion to close tonight's planning board meeting.
I second the motion.
7 seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience and input and discussion.
Great, what's going on next door?